Hello everyone, welcome to another video of plant, water and relation. So in this video we are going to talk about the different methods or absorption of water by the roots from the soil. So as we know, we have discussed about the structure of root hair, then among the different types of water available, that is hygroscopic, gravitational, combined water, capillary water. Only one type of water is available for the plants, for the roots to take up, that is the capillary water. So the root hair can absorb this capillary water by any three of these processes. Okay, physical processes like imbibition, diffusion, or osmosis. Some of the terminologies you might have studied in lower standard, but any which ways we will be doing it in detail in this chapter. So let's begin directly. So the first type is imbibition. Okay, so we are discussing the different physical processes of water absorption. Okay, up till now we have discussed the structure of the root hair, which is the actual place or the site where absorption will take place. Then what type of water will be taken up by the root hair, so that is the capillary water. And now how, okay, now how the water will be taken up, how the absorption will take place. So either it can be through imbibition or through diffusion or through as osmosis. Okay, so let's begin. So the first type is imbibition. Now what is imbibition? The absorption of water by hydrophilic compounds. Absorption of water by hydrophilic compounds. Okay, imbibition basically we understand in simple word, it is swelling. It is simply swelling. Okay, like you take any pulses, or you take any beans and you soak it in water, leave it for overnight. What happens? You overnight you see the size of those beans have been increased. They have imbibed water in it. Yes or no? This has happened. This has happened because of the absorption of water. Okay, because of some of the compounds which are present in the beans, which has taken up water, and overnight it has swelled up because of the hydrophilic compounds present in this particular bean, for example. So in this process, water molecules get tightly absorbed on the surface of, okay, adsorbed on the surface of the compounds without forming a solution. Okay, here also there's a this is adsorption, not absorption, adsorption. Okay, so imbibe, as I told you, swelling. So just in the previous video I gave you an example of wood. Okay, what happens if you dip wood, for example, in water? Yeah, uh, the water will swell up the upper surface, and if you cut and see, the water might not have reached in the very innermost layer of the wood. Okay, so just the water molecules get tightly attracted or absorbed onto the surface of the compounds without actually forming any solution. Okay, so because of this, the article or the thing or the compound, they show what? Swelling. Example, in rainy season, wooden doors, okay, they swell up, right? Because there is a lot of moisture in the air. So they take up water and absorb onto its surface. Then windows also imbibe water and they swell up. The doors and the windows, they swell up if they are made up of wood. Okay, so just in the similar manner, in the root hair system, in the root hairs, we know that outer layer of the cell wall is made up of pectin, and the inner layer of the cell wall is made up of cellulose. This pectin and cellulose compounds in the root hair, they absorb water, they imbibe water, and they swell up. Okay, so this is one of the method, swell up, and then they will pass on the water to the next, to the further tissue. So from the root hairs, now it will move further to the next layer of cells, next layer of tissue for further transport of that particular of water. Okay, so the first method is imbibition. Imbibition is nothing but adsorption of water by hydrophilic compounds. They are basically tightly adsorbed on the surface of the compounds without actually doing, undergoing any chemical reaction or forming a solution, something like that. So cellulose and pectin compounds of the root hair, cell wall, they imbibe water. Then next mechanism is, which happens in the sequel manner. So after imbibition is diffusion. So movement of ions, yes, atoms or molecule of a substance. Yes or no? Diffusion we have studied from lower standard also, in chemistry also, maybe in physics also. It can be movement of ions, it can be movement of atoms or molecules of any substance from a region of, this is very, very important, from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. As you can see over here, okay, till it reaches any equality, till it reaches equilibrium. Yes, let's say you begin with high water concentration, 33 water molecules, and here only 7 water molecules are there. Now what will happen? Water molecules are moving. Can you see? This is the membrane. Let's say this is the outside of the cell, this is the inside of the cell. Now what has happened? 23. So it started with 33 something. Yeah. Now, when both having 2020, now the equilibrium has reached. So let's say 33 water molecules on the outside of the cell, high water concentration over here. Here it was less water. So now the water molecules is moving from higher concentration to lower concentration, from outside of the cell to the inside of the cell. So it will move up till when they reach equilibrium. Now 2020. So now movement will stop. This movement is known as diffusion. This movement is known as diffusion. Okay, so diffusion will result in a pressure which will be created, which is directly proportional to the number of diffusing particles. Okay, so this pressure which is created, that is how much water molecules to move, should be moved over here. So this diffusion results in a diffusion pressure which is directly proportional to the number of diffusing particles. That will depend upon how many water molecules are required over here. So it is directly proportional. Fine. Diffusion pressure of pure solvent is always more than that of a solvent in solution. Okay, so water will always have more pressure of diffusion. Okay, diffusion pressure of pure water. Okay, pure solvent means only water will be always high, will be always more. That is, easily the water will diffuse under high pressure, which will result into more diffusion pressure than that of any solvent in a solution. Let's say sugar plus water or salt plus water. So this solution will have less DP, less diffusion pressure as compared to only pure water. Okay, because the diffusion might be affected because of the solute present in this solution. That is what we need to understand. Okay. Now, the difference in the diffusion pressure of the pure solvent and a solvent in a solution will be termed as diffusion pressure deficit. These are certain terminologies that we need to know. Okay. That is diffusion pressure deficit. What is diffusion pressure deficit? This is the difference in the diffusion pressure. So we know what is the diffusion pressure. So we take two example, water, which is a pure solvent. Okay, and we take a solution which is having solute plus solvent. I hope you are familiar with all these terminologies. Okay, solute plus solvent. This is a solution. Fine. So the diffusion pressure of water is always more than that of any solvent in a solution. And now we are talking about the diffusion pressure deficit, the difference between the two, the subtraction. Okay. when you minus between. So that is termed as the difference in both of their diffusion pressure is known as diffusion pressure deficit. Okay, or another word is suction pressure. Also, another word is water potential. These are all used for DPD. Earlier, it was purely called as diffusion pressure deficit or suction pressure, but nowadays we call it as the water potential. Okay, water potential. Basically, water around the cell wall, okay, which can move in the cell by diffusion. So, capability of the water outside the cell wall to move inside the cell. Okay, okay, through the process of diffusion. Through the process of diffusion. So, it is one of diffusion is one of the important mechanism that occurs in plant. Fine. Yeah. Okay. So diffusion is one of the important mechanism wherein water is taken up by the root system and transported to different parts of the plant. Another final, a basic understanding is basically regarding the DPD is that in simple terms, you can just keep it in mind. It's the actual thirst of the cell with which it absorbs water from the surrounding. So this DPD or the water potential, in other words, water potential is basically how much water does the cell needs, how much thirst of the cell is there, how much requirement of water is there. So that much amount of water will be taken up, will be absorbed from the surroundings. Simple. It's not like humans. Humans, though we are sometimes full, but we still keep on eating. Okay, and then we uh, fall sick due to overeating also. But in naturally, with when we talk about other organisms like plants and other animals, they only take up according to their need. Okay, then we move to the next step through which the water can be taken up is osmosis, and this we have been studying from school days. Yeah, very simple to understand. Osmosis basically diffusion of water or solvent. Okay, so you have a solute plus solvent which give rise to solution. Okay, let's say if I talk about salt plus water, so salt will be the solute and water will be the solvent. So the compound, the substance which is present in low concentration is the solute. The substance which is present in more concentration is the solvent. Solute plus solvent will give you solution. So either water, when we talk about pure solvent, it will be water, and we talk about a solution. When we talk about solvent, so let's say the salt is dissolved in water, so only the water will diffuse. Okay, so osmosis is diffusion of water or solvent from a solution of lower concentration to higher concentration. This is opposite to diffusion. This is opposite to diffusion. What have we studied in diffusion now? Diffusion is what? Movement of ions, atoms or molecules from region of higher concentration to lower. From high to low. From high to low. Okay, the movement of atoms, ions or molecules. It can be any molecule like water molecules or any solute molecules, anything. From a concentration of higher region to lower region. Whereas in osmosis, movement from lower to higher. Yes, so this is lower to higher. Here low sugar concentration is there. Okay, sugar is what? Green. Green circles are sugar. Here there is no sugar. Okay, and here there are sugars, high sugar concentration, then high water concentration and low water concentration. Right? So basically, osmosis is what? Diffusion of water or solvent from a solution of lower concentration to a solution of higher concentration. Okay. So here the concentration of sugar is lower. So water will move from this to this. Water will move from this compartment to that compartment. Okay. Where the sugar solution is more. Or from a pure solvent to the solution. Okay. From the pure solvent. So this is, let's say, only water and this is a solution. So tendency will be the water will move from pure region to a solution wherein there is sugar also through semi-permeable membrane. So this is what osmosis is. Okay, thus water at the interface of the cell wall and the plasma membrane enters to the cytoplasm of the root hair due to osmosis. So outside water will enter inside the cell. Okay, we will imagine this scenario with respect to the water absorbed by the root hair. So the root cell is over here and the root hair is here. Okay. Okay, now inside of the cytoplasm you have so many concentrated solutes and then you have some water molecules also. But outside you have only water molecules present in between the soil particles. So the tendency will be to move inside. Okay, so the water at the interface of the cell wall, here cell wall and inside plasma membrane, it will move inside. Okay, through which mechanism? Through osmosis. Through osmosis, because inside the solute concentration is high, outside the solute concentration is low. So the diffusion will take place in this manner, which is the mechanism is known as osmosis. Okay, so the osmosis can be of three types. Again, this you might have studied in lower standard. We will still go through it. Okay, that is hypotonic, isotonic, and hypertonic. So with respect to the concentration and osmotic migration, it can be of three types of solutions are recognized. Okay, depending upon what is the type of solution, where the water is more, where the water is less. Three type of solution: hypotonic solution, isotonic solution, hypertonic. So hypo, iso, and hyper. Okay, let's begin. Hypotonic means what? Hypo stands for less. Hypo stands for less in simple terms. Or you can just say weak solution. That is, the solvent, solute is less and solvent is more. Solute is less and solvent is more. That is why it is written as weak solution, strong solvent. Having low osmotic concentration. Having low osmotic concentration. Okay, so the tendency will be, let's say the cell, sorry, the solvent molecules are more in the solution. Solvent molecules are more in the solution. Okay, so the tendency will be the water will move from outside of the cell to the inside, outside of the cell to the inside, because the solutes are more inside the cell and the solute concentration outside the cell is very weak, very less. So less solute. Okay, so hypotonic solution. Hypertonic means strong solution. Strong solution means opposite of hypo. This is more molecules of solute, more molecules of solute, as you can see over here. Here molecules of solute are more in the vicinity of the cell, in the surrounding of the cell. More solutes over here and less solute, or the osmotic concentration is less inside the cell. So tendency of water will be to move from inside of the cell to the outside, exactly opposite to hypotonic. Here the tendency of water will be to move from outside to inside of the cell. Okay, here the tendency of the water will be to move from outside of the cell to the, inside of the cell to the outside. That is why you see here the cell is swelling. In hypotonic condition, the cell will swell. In hypertonic condition, the cell will shrink. The cell will shrink because it is losing its water and giving to the surrounding. And in isotonic, it's very simple. Everything is balanced out. A concentration of solution where there is neither gain or loss of water. Concentration outside and inside of the cell is same. So here it is same, no change in any physical size or physical properties of the cell. So no movement as such will take place because everything is similar. Outside also the cell concentration of the solute solvent is same and inside also it is same. So isotonic is balanced out. Hypotonic solute is less outside and solute is more inside. So water will move from uh, outside of the cell to the inside. Okay, here water will move from inside the cell to the outside. In this case, the cell will shrink. In this case, the cell will swell up. Okay, so three different scenarios can be there with respect to the concentration and the osmotic migration. Okay, so hypotonic, and isotonic. That's all for the video. Please keep revising. In case of any doubt, reach out to me. In the next video, we will be talking about few subtypes, I mean, two more subtypes of osmosis, that is endoosmosis and exoosmosis. And we will be talking about osmotic pressure as well. So, osmotic pressure and facilitated diffusion. And these terms basically, so a lot of terms. So, see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.